President Bush sends Congress a wartime budget proposal tomorrow. It calls for nearly $1.5 trillion in spending and the largest deficit in U.S. history. Also included more spending cuts. Randall Pinkston reports.
In a move likely to start a war on the domestic front, President Bush is expected to call for an additional $23 billion in cuts in Medicare, the health program which affects 33 million abled and disabled Americans. The president's budget director says strong measures are needed to slow down costs in one of the fastest growing items in the budget.
First of all, cuts is a Washington word. Medicare goes up very substantially in our budget, but if our proposals were accepted, it wouldn't go up quite as fast as it would otherwise. But it's
another way of saying someone will get less, including doctors, medical laboratories, and wealthy Medicare recipients. Medicare supporters charge any cuts would violate last year's budget agreement between the White House and Congress. And governors of states with large elderly populations worry that if the federal government reduces medical payments, the costs will be passed along to states already hard-pressed for cash.
Anything the federal government did on top of that would greatly add to our problems in that regard, and I'd hate to see that happen.
The big unknown in the budget, the effect of the war in the Gulf. The Bush administration insists the war won't wreak havoc on budget figures. While American taxpayers will foot some of the bill, contributions from allies are supposed to cover most of the cost of the war.
The effort in the Gulf, of course, is financed in a separate account. In effect, there'll be a supplemental appropriation as well as the contributions from our allies that will pay for the operations in the Gulf.
So far, not all of the allies have paid what they've promised, but Bush administration officials say they're not worried that last year 70% of the money that was promised was paid on schedule, and they're hoping for a similar rate of success in the future. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, the White House.